1. Solar, heat pumps and EVs, tax credit deadline rush in Maine. 2. Trump's bill and EVs, what you need to know, tax credits, deals and the future. 3. Colorado EV credits slashed, what you must know before buying an electric vehicle in 2025. 1. Solar, heat pumps and EVs, tax credit deadline rush in Maine. The clock is ticking for homeowners and drivers in Maine and across the nation eager to embrace clean energy solutions. A recent tax bill, signed into law by President Donald Trump last week, has dramatically altered the landscape of federal incentives, triggering a frantic rush to purchase solar panels, heat pumps, and electric vehicles before crucial deadlines arrive. But here's where it gets controversial. These changes aren't just about saving money, they are fundamentally reshaping the market for sustainable technologies. At the heart of the issue is the elimination of several key clean energy programs. The 30% federal tax credit for residential solar installations, previously slated to expire in 2032, is now set to vanish on December 31st. This accelerated timeline has fueled a significant surge in demand, with customers scrambling to finalize their projects before the credits disappear. Maine Solar Solutions, a Freeport-based company, is experiencing this firsthand. Their Director of Business Development, Aaron Cutterfield, reports that they are anticipating being fully booked through the end of the year, a remarkable jump from their typical completion rate of around 300 installations. They are now aiming to finish between 400 and 500 projects by December. Beyond solar, the federal $2,000 tax credit for residential heat pump installations is also expiring on December 31st. Efficiency Maine's Executive Director, Michael Stoddard, anticipates a noticeable increase in consumer demand throughout the remainder of the year as individuals seek to capitalize on this opportunity. While Maine's own rebate program offers an additional $3,000 off heat pump costs, depending on income, the federal incentive remains a powerful motivator. Perhaps the most immediate impact is felt in the electric vehicle market. The federal tax credit for new EVs, offering up to $7,500, and used EVs, up to $4,000, is set to expire on September 30th. Casco Bay Ford's General Manager, John Litwinetz, notes that the prospect of a $7,500 discount on a vehicle heading for the scrap heap is driving a considerable influx of customers. He acknowledges, however, that a slowdown is inevitable once the incentives vanish, predicting a potential dip in sales for a month or two. Despite the anticipated contraction, industry experts remain cautiously optimistic. Cutterfield emphasizes that while a 30 to 40% reduction in business is expected, it's not a catastrophic scenario. However, he stresses that this represents a substantial setback for the entire industry, fundamentally altering their business models. Stoddard suggests a slight decline in demand is possible, but believes Maine's rebate program will mitigate the impact. So, what do you think? Do you believe these expiring tax credits are a necessary catalyst for accelerating the adoption of clean energy, or do you see them as a short-sighted measure that will ultimately hinder long-term sustainability? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. 2. Trump's bill and EVs, what you need to know, tax credits, deals and the future. Imagine a future where electric vehicles, EVs, are no longer the beneficiary of substantial federal support in the United States. Thanks to President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill OBBB, this future is now a reality. The legislation effectively slashes key incentives for emission-light vehicles, casting a shadow of uncertainty over an already struggling American auto industry. Yet, nearly a quarter of U.S. vehicle shoppers remain very likely to consider buying an EV, while another 35% are somewhat likely, according to a recent J.D. Power survey. For those enthusiastic about EVs, here are some key takeaways from this significant shift in policy. First off, the new bill has eliminated the federal tax credit of up to $7,500 for electric vehicles, a program that was supposed to last until 2032, but will now expire by September 30th. This credit was crucial for making EVs like the Tesla Model 3, Chevy Equinox EV, and Hyundai Ioniq more affordable for those with moderate budgets. However, buyers still have a window to take advantage of this credit for new electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. Used EVs also qualify for a $4,000 credit. Experts like Joseph Yoon from Edmunds suggest, if you're in the market for an EV now, you should go buy it. But remember, not all vehicles or buyers qualify for these credits. Eligibility depends on factors like the vehicle's price, assembly location, and where its battery components come from. Additionally, income limits apply. Married couples can't earn more than $300,000 annually, heads of households are capped at $225,000, and others at $150,000. Interestingly, even after the tax credit window closes, there might be some attractive deals on electric vehicles. This is partly because automakers have shown a willingness to reduce prices in response to market pressures. For instance, Ford and Stellantis offered employee pricing to all customers following Trump's tariffs increase. Nissan also cut prices on popular models. This trend could continue, with experts predicting more aggressive pricing as manufacturers respond to heightened interest in EVs. The OBBB also axed a tax credit for installing at-home EV charging systems, though this credit will remain available until June 2026. However, it's limited to low-income and non-urban areas, covering up to 30% of the installation cost, or $1,000. The bill does not eliminate Biden-era tax credits for manufacturers, which have been crucial in lowering costs for automakers, battery makers, and critical mineral suppliers. These credits are a lifeline for the EV ecosystem during these challenging times. However, the new legislation does increase requirements for domestic components, which may make it harder for some players in the EV supply chain to qualify. Moreover, the OBBB removed penalties for automakers failing to meet corporate average fuel economy standards, which have driven innovations in hybrid and electric vehicles. Without these incentives, automakers might be less motivated to produce cleaner vehicles. Despite these changes, local and state governments might step in to fill the gap left by federal support. For instance, 11 states have banded together to explore new policies promoting cleaner vehicles. California, in particular, remains committed to phasing out new gas car sales by 2035 and is exploring innovative ways to support zero-emission vehicles. In conclusion, while the current U.S. landscape for electric vehicles is uncertain, the global trend toward EVs remains strong. Countries like China are expected to continue producing competitive EVs, which will eventually drive demand in the U.S. American companies will need to adapt to these global changes to remain competitive. As one expert noted, this setback might be a temporary speed bump on the road to a more sustainable transportation future. And this is the part most people miss. The shift in federal policy could spark a broader discussion about how to support the EV industry in the long term. It raises questions about the balance between federal, state, and international support for cleaner energy solutions. The big question now is, will states and local governments successfully fill the gap, or will the lack of federal incentives hinder the growth of the EV market? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. 3. Colorado EV credits slashed. What you must know before buying an electric vehicle in 2025. Time is running out for Colorado residents to snag significant savings on electric vehicles, EVs, and this isn't just a sales pitch. With federal tax credits poised to disappear and state incentives shrinking dramatically, the next 90 days could be the last chance for many to affordably transition to clean energy transportation. But here's where it gets controversial. While some argue these cuts will level the playing field, others warn they'll stall progress on climate goals. Let's break down the details. Coloradans need to act before it's too late. Why the sudden rush? Federal tax credits worth up to $7,500 for new EVs are set to vanish on October 1, 2025, while a $4,000 used EV credit will also expire. Meanwhile, Colorado's state tax credit for new EVs will plummet from $3,500 to just $750 starting January 1, 2026, a 79% reduction. For context, delaying a purchase by just a few months could cost buyers over $10,000 in lost incentives. This isn't a drill, emphasizes Will Tour, head of the Colorado Energy Office. The next 3 months are the best window we'll see for years to lock in these savings. The federal shift, more than just budget cuts. The phase-out of federal credits stems from a broader policy clash. President Trump and congressional Republicans repealed the incentives as part of a July 2025 budget deal, labeling them unfair subsidies that artificially prop up EV demand. This move reversed a key Biden-era goal of making 50% of new car sales electric by 2030. But critics call the repeal short-sighted. A Harvard analysis warns that without federal credits, EV adoption could drop from a projected 48% of new sales in 2030 to just 32% if additional anti-EV policies take hold. This isn't just about budgets, argues Tour. It's about whether we are serious about reducing emissions. Colorado's budget bind, why state credits are slashed. Unlike the federal repeal, Colorado's incentive cuts are driven by math, not ideology. A 2023 law tied EV credits to state revenue targets, and when those targets fell short in June 2025, automatic reductions kicked in. The state now faces a $700 million budget gap, exacerbated by federal policy changes. Originally, the new EV credit was set to drop to $1,500 in 2026. Now it's halved again to $750. Other green incentives, like credits for heat pumps and e-bikes, also face cuts. We designed these credits to wind down as the EV market matured, Tour explains, but nobody expected Congress to pull the rug out from under federal support entirely. What's still on the table? Not all hope is lost. 2 state programs remain untouched. A $2,500 credit for EVs under $35,000, targeting affordability. A $4,000 rebate for low-income residents trading in gas guzzlers through the Vehicle Exchange Program. These lifelines aim to keep EVs accessible to marginalized communities, though advocates worry they are now more critical than ever. We are exploring options to fill the gap, Tour says, but with the state budget this tight, it's an uphill battle. The bigger picture, why Colorado cares. Transportation accounts for 36% of Colorado's greenhouse gas emissions, the largest single source. Governor Jared Polis' 2019 goal of 940,000 EVs on the road by 2030 is seen as crucial to curbing climate impacts. As of May 2025, over 187,000 EVs are registered statewide, with electric models, including hybrids, making up 38% of first quarter 2025 car sales, double 2023 levels. Tax credits aren't the only driver, Tour notes. Expanded charging networks, better model options, and public awareness also play roles. Still, he admits, the credits have undeniably accelerated adoption. The controversy, market freedom versus climate action. Proponents of the cuts argue that EVs are now cost competitive without subsidies, and that taxpayers shouldn't fund purchases for wealthier buyers. Critics counter that lower-income families, who often buy used cars, will be priced out of the transition. Are we penalizing early adopters or protecting the market, asks Tour. That's the debate. Your move, Colorado. With the clock ticking, prospective buyers face a choice: act now to maximize savings or wait and risk higher costs. But this isn't just a personal finance issue, it's a collective one. As Colorado's EV growth slows, so too could its progress on air quality and emissions. This is a pivotal moment, Tour urges. If you've been on the fence, now's the time to act, for your wallet and the climate. The ask, where do you stand? Do you think tax credits are essential for the EV transition, or should the market stand on its own? Should states like Colorado fight to preserve incentives, or is it time to rethink green subsidies entirely? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep the conversation going.